my channel. It's been a long time since I have put any content on here, and I decided this morning, that I was going to, sorry, I'm trying to get comfortable and I'm really out of practice of doing videos. I'm a little bit nervous. I decided that today I was going to briefly recap 2021 and talk a little bit about my intentions and goals for this year. It's currently the 2nd of January over here, and it's Sunday, and I have largely the house to myself for a little bit, so I thought, well, I'll get out in my lounge and film a video. It is quite warm today, so it's really hot up in my witchy room, which is near the conservatory, and the sun's just blaring in there, and it's really hot, and I've been running around like a blue ass fly this morning, and I'm a bit flushed. Right, so we're just gonna crack into it, because I am gonna try and get into the habit of not talking unnecessarily and doing a 40-minute video that really should only be 20 minutes. So let's get on with it. 2021. I had some really good, amazing highs in 2021 and some lows that were pretty grim. Now, I'm not going to talk about the lows for a couple of reasons. One is that it's private family stuff and I don't want my business all over YouTube. And second, I just don't want to dwell on these things. I don't want to think about them. And I just don't want to share them. So yeah, we will just ignore the lows and crack on with the highs. So one thing that I did last year, which I'm really, really proud of myself for, and has had a huge impact, a really massive positive impact on my life, is that I've changed some things at my job. So for those of you that don't know, I am a community support worker, and I've done that job for over 20 years now. The company that I'm with currently, I'm in my 17th year with this company, and I did 5 years prior with another company. So basically we go around and we assist mainly elderly people, but sometimes people that have had accidents and things, to help them to shower, to do their housework, a little bit of, physiotherapy, their medications, things like that. And I have worked a split shift, not just in this role, but also like for 27 years I've worked a split shift. So I've worked during the day, had a little bit of a break, and then gone back to work at night. And it was starting to really, really get me down in quite a big way, actually. I was constantly unhappy and whinging to my husband, oh, I've got to go back to work in an hour and I can't do anything. And it was really starting to have quite a negative impact on my life. So my husband said, why don't you give up night work completely and just be done with it? And I thought that it was just going to be too hard and that I just would not be able to implement it, and work would be really resistant. And so I just no, this is how it is. And I was just becoming really resentful about my job in general. And when you think about it, your job takes up like a good portion of your life, not just the duration of your working life, but even your day. You see your work colleagues, and you're working often more than, for a lot of us, than your own family. So if you're miserable in your job, it spills over into every other aspect of your life. Your mental health, absolutely, and your physical health, your motivation, your happiness, everything. So I was getting increasingly more down in the dumps over it, and I got brave. I made a decision, and I was like, that's it, I'm done. And I had a chat with my supervisor, and I was like, I can't do this anymore. I've had enough. I don't want to work in the evening anymore. And she was absolutely brilliant. I don't know what I was so worried about, but she was absolutely brilliant. She's like, that's fine. You've earned it. That's fine. So I worked out 2 weeks and increased my, well, not so much increased, changed my daytime hours availability a little bit. And I haven't worked in the evening since October of 2021. And the relief is just indescribable It's especially nice for winter coming up, because you would, you'd work during the day, and then you would come home, you'd settle down, you'd cook tea, you'd have tea, you'd clean up, and you'd sit down, you might pick up a book or do some craft or whatever, and then you're like, I've actually got to go back to work in an hour, and it was just miserable. So yeah, not actually having to go out in the evening in the winter is just it's like I've won the lottery. And also, in the summer, I've got time to actually sit in my garden and just relax and hang out with my pony. I'm a summer person. I'm not a heat person. I don't like blazing summer heat, but I love sunshine. I love the long evenings in the summer and being able to go for walks and just potter in my garden and hang out with my pony. And I love it. So that's been huge. Absolutely huge. And not only did I change that, but I also changed what I'm actually prepared to do at work as well, which has been just as huge. I now no longer shower any male clients because I've had just issues with showering men. I had one guy who had dementia, and I used to go in there twice a day and get him out of bed and then put him into bed at night, and he was hard work, and he was very inappropriate with his touching, which is quite normal for dementia patients. And I put up with it for 4 years, and I was like, no, sorry, I'm not comfortable showering male clients anymore. So that has been such a relief, and now I'm quite happy at my job. And I mean, I'd dearly love to win the lottery and not have to ever work again, but that's not reality. So yeah, that's been brilliant. The other huge thing that happened in a really positive way in 2021 was I have joined a coven, and I won't bore you with the whole how it all came about because it's quite a lengthy story, but basically I did a trial with a coven quite some time ago, like 10 plus years ago, and I started getting really bad anxiety. I suffer with agoraphobia, so that was like roaring like into the fore, and I just did not feel comfortable at all, and I decided not to pursue the coven, much to the high priestess's disappointment, actually, because we got on famously. And looking back, in hindsight, it was nothing more than just fear of the unknown and fear of participating in a group and low self-esteem and low confidence and talking in front of a group and things like that. And that just really threw me and my confidence just way out there. So we sort of lost contact, and then we actually got back in contact in quite an obscure way, actually. And yeah, to make a long story short, as I said, she invited me back, or invited me to sort of entertain the idea of coming back to Circle, and whether it was something that I would consider doing. And I thought about it, and I said, actually it is something, I would like to. So I have done my trial period and am a fully fledged coven member now. This has been going on for quite a few months, and I've just kept it private because I just, again, am quite a private person, and I don't see the point in putting all my business out there on the internet. But yeah, it's just, I don't know if I can actually describe the feeling of being with a group of people that you can just resonate with on a spiritual level. Just sitting around and talking and being able to talk about dreams you've had or signs you've seen or readings that you've done or what herb's good for this and workings for this. It's such a liberating experience. We meet twice a month. Actually, we have a coven meeting today. So we have a ritual once a month, and then we have a coven meeting after that, like a couple of weeks after that. But we also get together and do craft days. We did one a wee while ago where we all played around with air dry clay and made some awesome little altar bits and pieces, and it's just lovely. So yeah, and it's a real privilege being in this coven. It's a very long established coven. It's not open to just anyone. It's been in existence for quite some time. It's very long established. The High Priestess is very well known within the spiritual pagan community here in Canterbury, and yeah, it is a real honour, and I'm very proud to be a fully fledged member of this coven. And it's great because it's taken me out of my comfort zone, but in a really comfortable way. You know, we share during ritual meditations and readings and things, and yeah, it's just, I can't actually describe how happy I am. It's been one of the best things and it's just so lovely. It's just so lovely to have a night of ritual and then sit around the table and share a brew, and we all bring food and just sit and chat, and it's really a dream come true. And I'm really, really thrilled and very proud and very happy to be part of it. So that's two really amazing things that happened in 2021. And I'm actually not going to talk about the whole pandemic thing. I am so sick of even the word COVID. I can't even tell you that just the word COVID-19 just gives me a gutsache, really. I'm completely over it. I don't follow any news anymore. I don't even watch, because I'm a bit of an old fuddy-duddy, so I'd sit and watch the 6 o'clock news with my husband every night on the telly. I don't even do that anymore because it's all COVID, and I'm just over it, just over the whole thing, and hearing about other countries. That sounds awful, I know, but I'm done. I've got COVID exhaustion, and I'm done. So yeah, all right. 2022, I've got 6 things here that, not resolutions essentially, but things that I want to focus on this year, and some goals. My word for this year is gratitude, and it's something that I feel is actually one of the secrets to having a happy life, is being grateful for the blessings that you have in your life. And this is something that I can forget. And, you know, like I was talking to my sister about this the other day, and we were both, because we're both on holiday at the moment. I go back to work tomorrow. She goes back to work in a few days. And we were like, oh, you know, got to go back to work and back to the grind, and sort of getting a little bit down about it. And I said, you know what, we need to change our way of thinking. We need to be like, okay, so we actually have the power to change this if we want. We don't have to be working in these jobs. You know, we can actually get a different job if we so wish. But aside from that, we have got jobs that allow us to have a lifestyle that we want, and pay our bills, and have, you know, shelter, and feed ourselves and look after our family. And, you know, that's something that, you know, a lot of people don't have, and it's something that we really, you know, we should be more grateful for. So it's something that I really want to focus on this year, is being grateful for the blessings that I have in my life currently, and stop trying to count other people's blessings. And that's, for me, that's a really important energy to focus on this year. So aside from that, first one is diet and exercise. Now, if you'll remember, I've actually deleted all the videos, but if you'll remember, end of 2020, I was on this huge weight loss mission. Lose weight, exercise, get healthy. I wanted to lose 40 kilos, and I was sharing my updates, and I was doing really well. I actually lost 10 kilos. And then in the April of 2021, I completely fell off the wagon, lost motivation, hit a brick wall, and basically just stopped doing my weight loss journey. And that's a fairly normal thing for me. I'll start with a hiss and a roar, and I think that's fairly normal for a lot of people. Start with a hiss and a roar and then just lose motivation. So I have a new goal in mind for this year, and that is simply to just get healthier. I don't really have a weight loss number in my head, or that I want to aim towards. I just want to get into the habit of exercising 3 to 4 times a week and eating better. I have so overindulged over Christmas. Well, actually, before Christmas, let's be real, but especially over the Christmas, New Year, like sort of that whole sort of month of December, I have totally overindulged. I have eaten so much chocolate that I can't even tell you. And I'm not a massive chocolate eater, but I got given heaps of boxes of chocolate through, you know, sort of grateful clients at work and gifts and things. And so heaps of chocolate, heaps of candy canes, because they're one of my favourite things in the world to eat. Christmas cake, all the Christmassy desserts, tiramisu and trifle and pavlova and brandy snaps and ambrosia, and it's been really, really, like, I've made a complete pig of myself, and I can feel it within me. So I need to get back into a way more healthier way of eating, and that's something that I'm really going to be focusing on, and I've already started, and just being really mindful of what I eat and not eating all that sugary, creamy, high carb crap, because that just, my body just does not work well eating that kind of food. So that's the first thing. The second is spend less and save more. Now, I am one of those people that I'm a bit of an emotional spender. I was actually watching a video by one of my favourite witches on here, Jess from the Stitchin' Witch, and this is something that she'd mentioned in her sort of goal 2022 goal 21 recap video, and I can relate to that because I'm quite an emotional spender. I've certainly gotten better over the last year, but it's something that I have to constantly sort of keep in check a little bit. So, you know, I'd be one of those that'd be like, oh, it's payday, I'm going to go and treat myself, and just buy a bunch of stuff that would sit in a drawer or sit in the wardrobe or sit in my witchy room and not get used. So I've definitely improved on that front, but there's way more that I can do. And also I want to start saving. I've never been a saver, really, ever. I've sort of, again, a bit like weight loss, started and then fallen off the bandwagon. I have already started saving. I've made my first sort of contribution to my savings account, and I'm actually really, really proud of myself for starting KiwiSaver. Just a few weeks ago. KiwiSaver is like it's like a retirement fund. So they take a percentage of your wages every week or fortnight or monthly, whenever you get paid, and your employer matches it and it gets invested. And so, yeah, the earlier that you start, the better, because retirement age here is 65. So you know, have got quite a good nest egg built up. I've got 20 years until I turn 65, so I'll have 20 years of savings, but yeah, it sort of helps you in your retirement. So I finally signed myself up for it because I thought it was all just going to be too hard, and finally got round and got it done, so that's a relief. But just getting into the habit of putting money from my wages every fortnight into a savings account and not touching it and having it just for emergencies, or, you know, actually saving up for something. That is a really big focus for me this year, and I'm quite excited to see how much I can actually save, because I think I'm going to surprise myself. Now, I'm still going to go thrift shopping. Let's be absolutely honest. Thrift shopping is like, it's one of my favorite things to do in the world. I don't get as much time to do it now because I've sort of changed my day hours, so I don't have as much availability, but yeah, I did quite a bit sort of leading up to Christmas and got some awesome little bits and pieces for gifts, and I love it. I love buying things and upcycling them and reusing them. I've actually got something here. I've got a couple of things. Actually, everything on here is thrifted. But yeah, I got this box a wee while ago. I thought it looked so sort of vintage. It's got, I don't know what sort of birds they are. I don't think they're New Zealand birds, but this wee box, and it's all, no, it's not lined, this one. And I had chocolates and stuff in it, which have since been eaten for Christmas. And yeah, and I was going to change it, but I actually quite like the birds on top, actually. Oh, and I got this quite a wee while ago. This little Halloween, I don't know if you're going to be able to see it, but it's like this sort of fold out like Halloween little house thing. Anyway, really cool. So I'm still going to be doing thrift shopping, but I'm going to be a bit more mindful of what I buy. I went through a stage of where I was obsessed with buying frames, and I love the little round like filigree metal. I don't know if I've got any. No, I haven't. little Victorian looking frames, and I would take my bits and paint them, and I would just do all sorts of different crafts with them. I've got a heap stored away that I need to actually do something with, because I just keep buying them. So that's something I'm going to be a lot more mindful of what I buy when I'm op shopping, but I am still going to be doing a little bit of op shopping. The next one is a daily spiritual practice. Now, I can start a daily spiritual practice, but I have a problem maintaining it. And it's something that I desperately need to do and desperately want to do, because it anchors me just so much with just my day-to-day life and my spiritual growth. I know when I leave for work in the morning, if I've spent some time at my altar and had a bit of a chat to my deity, and I've done a card pull for the day or a rune pull for the day, or I've just sat in solitude for a bit, then it just sets me up for the day. And yeah, just having that daily time that's just dedicated to my spirituality, I feel for me is just vitally important, and it's something that I really am determined to focus on this year. There's also a few other little bits concerning that. I want to get cracking in with my grimoire. I started one ages ago and then lost motivation. So that's something that I really want to focus on this year as well, is like updating my grimoire, and actually getting all the little bits of paper that I've got scattered all over the place actually written out, concise, and in a book. So yeah, it's, I don't know, when you sort of think about it, it seems like such a simple thing as to maintain a daily practice, but it can be a little bit difficult. If you're the sort of person that's quite scatterbrained like I am. I have OCD, so my brain is busy all the time. Actually, it's something that during our coven ritual that has really helped me quiet my brain, is because we do a meditation during every ritual, and meditation is something that I've struggled with a lot forever, because my brain it's just working all the time, and I get compulsive thoughts, and it's having OCDs, no fun at all, it's horrible. But yeah, having that ritual really helps, and sometimes we have guided ritual, having that meditation helps, and sometimes we do guided meditation as well. And yeah, that's helped heaps. Cultivating a daily spiritual practice is a huge focus for me this year. The next one is family excursions. Now, my husband, myself, and our son, we used to go out all the time, get in the car, and we'd pack a picnic, and we'd just go out into the country and just explore and have adventures. And we don't do that as much anymore. And it's something that we really love, especially our son. Our son is 23 now, but he has a form of autism, high functioning autism. He has Asperger's, and he loves getting out of the house and exploring out in the country. So that's something that we are going to be doing a lot more of this year. I used to do a lot of vlogging as well back in the day, and I'd sort of vlog our little excursions, and yeah. So definitely going to get back into that. My husband's now fully retired, so he's itching to get out and about at the weekends, because he's at home like a lot now, and he gets ants in his pants and gets a bit bored. So getting out and having adventures and making memories is really important. And we love looking at old cemeteries and old graveyards and old churches and things. We really enjoy doing that, so that's something that we're going to be really focusing on this year, and not just with my little family, my husband and my son, but my sister as well, and my niece. We want to get out and do a lot more together. They don't live in town, they live about a 40-minute drive away out in the country, so it's just a case of planning things and actually getting motivated and doing stuff. But yeah, that's a big focus for this year as well. Do more enriching and joyful activities. So I had a discussion with someone a wee while ago about embracing your inner child. I actually brought this record. I bought a record player ages and ages ago, and I actually found this record at the op shop a few weeks ago, and it's a Beatrix Potter, some of her stories read out by Wendy Craig. and I actually shared it on an op shop group that I'm part of, on a New Zealand one, on Facebook, and everyone just sort of went mad for it, and it brought back a lot of memories for a lot of people. And oh, we used to have that record, and you know, Mum would put it on for us when we were kids, and oh, that brings back so many memories. I think it's really important to do things that bring you joy and enrich your life, and I can remember listening to things like that when I was a child, and it brought me just a lot of comfort and a lot of joy. And I think, you know, even though I'm an adult, obviously, but doing things and engaging in things that sort of release that inner child a little bit and release those feelings of contentment and happiness are really good for your mental health. So crafting, I love crafting. I again love op shopping and picking up bits and pieces that I can upcycle. I'm really gotten back into doing cross stitch as well, especially in the winter, and now that I have the time to dedicate to it because I'm not working anymore at night, just sitting and listening to some nice soothing music and a candle going and a nice cup of tea, and just, you know, stitching away it's meditative, and it's a lovely thing to do. I really enjoy reading. I've been really getting back into reading. I don't spend as much time anywhere near like I used to when I used to be a Facebook addict. I do have Facebook back, but Facebook is I can go days without checking it. It's not a big thing for me anymore. I quite enjoy Instagram. I've been enjoying putting the odd story up on Instagram, but yeah, I have definitely lost my internet addiction. But I'm currently reading, that's why over there, I'm currently reading the latest edition of the Outlander series by Diana Gabaldon, which is Go Tell the Bees That I Have Gone. It's her latest book in the Outlander Claire and Jamie Fraser saga, and I am struggling to put it down. It's just brilliant right from the very first sentence. So yeah, I'm going to try and sort of space it out a little bit because I don't want to read it all in a week, because I absolutely could do. But yeah, just doing things that bring you joy and enrichment and happiness and comfort, and is something that is just, like I said, really important for your mental health, and it helps calm my busy brain as well. And yeah, maybe finding new things to do that bring about those feelings of joy. But yeah, like gardening as well. Like I should do a bit of a garden tour, but yeah, you guys know that I'm such an avid, passionate gardener, and that is something that I can completely lose track of time. I can, you know, go and I'm going to, you know, do some weeding, and then an hour's passed and I've just gone completely into myself and just been in the moment with nature and the birds and the bees, and it's just amazing. So yeah, doing more things that enrich and bring more joyfulness into my life. And as I've already mentioned, just being grateful for all the wonderful blessings that I have, and not counting other people's blessings, because what is the point of that? You know, you live for yourself and you live for the here and now, and there is always something to be thankful for, and there is always something to be grateful for. I actually have a little jar that I made, my gratitude jar. I've got it in my witchy room, and it's something that I, you know, want to and will be getting back into, writing a little something every day and putting it in my jar that I'm grateful for. Something that I don't have on my list, but I should have put on my list, because it's something that I am going to be implementing this year and have already started, is journaling every day. I love journaling, and I will start it and, you know, we'll do really well for a week or so, and then I'll just get busy, or my brain will be like working at 1,000,000 miles an hour, and I'll just kind of forget completely to do it. But journaling really helps calm my brain down. And you know, I used to be really bad, and some of you will probably remember this, but when I was a terrible Facebook addict, I would rant all over Facebook, and looking back, it's the cringiest thing, and I'm really embarrassed about it. But any little thing, I would rant about it on Facebook. If someone brassed me off at the supermarket, or I had a bad day at work, or just even private family stuff, like, it would all end up like being blasted all over Facebook, and foul language and swearing is something that I've really been trying to cut back on over the last year, because I don't know whether it's just because I'm getting older, but I'm like, oh, that sounds like really bad. But yeah, everything would end up on Facebook for everyone to see, and I had no shame, and I'm just so embarrassed, and like, oh God, like I can't believe I actually said that. But journaling's fine. You can put it down in your journal because no one's ever going to read it unless, you know, you have it all there when you die, and then some family members might not be very happy about what they see, but that's okay because you're not here anymore. But you know what I mean? Like, you can just save it for the journal. If you've got things that you're that have happened, that have, you know, made your day bad or made you angry or whatever, stick it in the journal and get it off your chest that way, which is a much healthier option than blasting it all over social media. So yeah, and that can be a ritual in itself, you know, sitting down with a nice candle going or some incense and a nice brew and listening to some nice music and just journaling and getting things out. And I find that that is such a relaxing thing to do, and it really helps calm you down, especially for someone that's quite anxiety riddled. Journaling about your feelings, and just, you can be as outrageous as you like in your journal, and that's completely fine. And just getting it out and just sharing your spiritual stuff as well is just, I think, yeah, really important. So that's all I've got for today. I would like to get back into doing more videos, but I'm not going to commit to doing that because it never works out. When I say I'm going to do this and I'm going to have a schedule and I'm going to do a series and I'm going to do whatever, it never ever works out that way. So we're just going to play it by ear, and what will be will be. So yeah, I hope you all have a fantastic year, and that it's happy and healthy, and that, yeah, you do things that that bring you a lot of joy. And I will catch you when I catch you. Bye. I believe I did that in one take.